Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of RCS Technology Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients consistently using various Internet marketing techniques and methods. Today, I want to talk to you about website content, and I want to give you several tips on how you can make your website content increase the customer experience. Now, Google, everybody knows, is the big dog, so I'm going to focus on Google, even though there are many other search engines out there. Google's responsibility is not to us, the business owners, or anybody selling or using the Internet for whatever we have to offer the world, blogs, whatever the case may be. Google's responsibility in its job, its function, its business is to provide a great user and or customer experience to those that use Google. So everybody who uses Google is looking for a good customer experience. And one of the ways Google determines that is when you're typing in a search, it will pull up the best results for the search that you're typing in. And that's how it will determine who it goes to. And there's different ways you can do that with keywords and SEO. And in today's second section, I'm going to be talking about SEO, whether or not you should use pay-per-click, organic SEO, or a combination of both. But today I want to talk to you about your website content, which is super important because you have on average 6 to 7 seconds when a person gets to your website to wow them or interest them, or they're going to bounce off your website. And you can check your bounce rates by going to Google Analytics, and you can see what your bounce rate is anyhow. But I want to talk to you today, and we're going to talk about your website content, and that is, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to start from the beginning. This is something that I wrote just to make sure that I covered everything. So I'll read a little bit, and then I'll ad-lib to it. Your website content is one of the most valuable tools that your company has in its arsenal. Considering that 81% of shoppers conduct online research before making big purchases, and 89% of business-to-business researchers say they use the Internet before engaging with a brand. A robust online presence is a must, but how do you make that happen? And now I'm going to tell you that it's all about your content. And content is king when it comes to your website. It's how you rank on search engines and thus how potential customers will find you. 71% of business-to-business researchers start their research with a generic Google search. That's by Google, who said that a couple of years ago. Its way of improving SEO and generating new traffic and leads is the top inbound marketing priority for 63% of marketers. Now, in my business, RCS Technology Solutions.com, we basically help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining ideal customers and clients. That's my tagline, right? And one of the greatest ways we do that is through their content, whether it's the content on their website, content in videos, SEO posts, LinkedIn posts, and everything is linked back to the website. But it all comes down to your content. So now, what is your company's top marketing challenge? I'm going to get into the tips in a second. I'm just giving you kind of like an overview right now. So 63% of companies surveyed have said that generating traffic and leads is their biggest marketing challenge. And not surprisingly, 40% of those same companies turned around and said that proving the ROR, meaning their return on investment of their marketing activities. So let's say they're spending $5,000 a month or even $1,000 a month to generate leads, to generate traffic and increase leads. They want to make sure that they're creating income in excess of whatever they're spending. And one of the ways you do that is, checking your ROI. So 40% want to make sure that they're making more than they're spending. That's not rocket science. I'm surprised it's only 40%. And then 28% talks about securing enough of a budget. Managing your website is 26%. I tell my clients, learn it, do it, and delegate it. Learn it to the point that you know enough that you're not being taken advantage of by a vendor, but do it just so you can understand it a little bit and then delegate it, right? So you want to know enough about it that you know what's important and what isn't important, and enough about it so somebody's not charging you, $3,000 for something that is really costing $1,200. So you want to make sure you're not being taken granted of. Now, so the struggle with most companies is often occurs when they get down to actually creating their content. There are billions of websites out there, and you have thousands of competitors within your industry. So how do you stand out? How do you break through that noise? So if you want to show up in one of the 12 searches on the average business-to-business researcher conducts before engaging with a brand, you need to create website content that isn't just focused on SEO, but on the customer experience. To do this, it is essential that you don't shortcut the content review and writing process. When it comes to building your website, new or old, instead you need to take your content seriously and follow these several tips for customer-focused content. And before I give you these tips, I want to let you know the biggest thing I can tell you. I can sum all this up in one sentence. Your customers, my customers, they don't care about us. They don't care anything about us. What they care about is the results that our services provide, how we can help them, what's in it for me. So your content needs to clearly convey to them what it is you can do for them and quickly. Like I said, you have 6 to 7 seconds. So if they're not engaged quickly, they're going to bounce off and hire someone else. So if your website is basically a brochure where you're telling people about all your services and maybe a few testimonials up there thrown in for good measures, that's not serving you certainly not as well as if in your first sentence you talk about, like mine, it should say, attract, convert, and retain your ideal customers and clients. That's what they want to know. If I hire you, if I work with you, what am I going to get? What is the result I'm going to get? So focus on that when you're talking about at least your first, when they hit your website. So here comes some of the tips. Number one, create a content strategy. Marketing is long-term. The content you create for your website today won't immediately bring new customers. However, if done correctly, it will help you reach your target audience and develop customer loyalty over time. I was actually just talking about this with a client today, and it's not a light switch. You don't create a website today and people find you next week. In fact, it's just the opposite. If you create a website, no one pretty much is going to find you unless they have your URL, right? So you give your business card out to somebody, your family, your friends, somebody else, they have your exact URL, your domain name, what you type in to bring up your website. So they'll find you. If a customer is looking for you, they don't know who you are. I've had customers tell me I'm already on the first page of Google. Why do I need SEO? And I tell them, you're on the first page of Google? Yeah. They said, if you just type in my name, I come up. I say, well, you kidding me? Of course you come up if you type in your name. How about you type in your service? If you're not coming up for your service, then you're not on the first page of Google, and people can't find you when they need your service. If somebody already knows your name, your company name or your individual name, then they're going to you. That is somebody you already know, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but so what? That's not customer acquisition. That's not lead generation. That's just somebody who already knows you exist and reaching out and finding you, right? So you want to be on the first page for your service. If you type in SEO or search engine optimization, Bill Ricker, I will come up first. If you type in website companies in Bill Ricker, I will also come up first, and I will come up first in, there's 320 cities or so in Massachusetts. I will come up on the first page in probably 270 of them or more. But anyhow, so you want to come up for your service, not just your company's name. So please understand that there's a big difference. So the problem is that only 30% of business-to-business companies see their content marketing as effective. And that's because only 46% have a documented content strategy. Without a documented content strategy, you don't know if you have the marketing tools, plan, and research necessary to get the job done. So here's another little graph that I saw online that I just pulled up. How B2B marketers rate their effectiveness of their organization's use of content marketing. 6%, on a scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6% out of 100 say it's very effective. 24% chose number 4, which is, somewhat effective. 44% say they're at number 3. 22% say they're at number 2. Number 1, which is not effective at all, 4%. So there's a lot of room for improvement here. The content strategy doesn't have to be complicated or take months to develop. It can be a simple document that outlines how your marketing content can help you. It should contain the following information: your company's goals and the KPIs that it will be used to measure performance, your target audience, including your buyer's persona, and that includes things like who, what, where, when, and how, your content marketing platforms, where you will post and how often, the topics most important to your customers and businesses, including a list of SEO keywords and phrases, how to create, repurpose, and promote content. That's a biggie. How are your competitors, and what are they doing well or not so well? So I'm going to read that again. This is what your content marketing strategy should include at a minimum: your company's goals, your target audience, including their buyer's persona, who they are, what they are, who they are, what, where, why, and how. And number 3, it should be your content marketing platforms. That means where are you posting? Is that Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, a combination of all of them? And then also how often. The topics that are most important to your customers and businesses, including a list of SEO keywords and phrases, and then how you will create that content, how you will repurpose and promote content. And then lastly, who are your competitors and what are they doing with their content marketing that you see that is done well and done poorly. And another great way, this is a second tip, is to talk to your customers. The key to a great website is to focus on your customers instead of selling. This is what I was going back to before I started the tips when I told you what's in it for me, meaning that's the customer's mentality. For many businesses, this means rethinking your entire marketing premise. Too often you'll see brands that create an entire website and marketing content strategy that is all about them. They talk about how amazing they are, what they can do, and why you should choose them over your competitors. Unfortunately, this leaves out the customer. Instead, you want to create a content marketing strategy that is focused on adding value throughout every stage of your customer's journey. This means that you need to understand who your customers This means that you need to understand who your customer is, what they want, and what value you can provide them. To do this, take a look at customer reviews, email surveys, testimonials, customer service chat logs, and any other customer feedback you might have. Then gain as much valuable insight as you can from this information and create content that matches what your customers told you that they wanted. And remember, please, that your customers are people, they're not robots. 50% of search queries are 4 words or longer. So make sure that your website content is written for how a customer would actually search. Use key phrases on your website instead of just keywords. You want to communicate in the same way that your customer communicates. So this is huge. If you type in, black shoes, shoes, you're going to get millions of hits. If you type in black shoes, you're going to get less, but still a lot. If you type in comfortable black shoes, you're going to get a lot, but a lot less than you will with just shoes, right? And then if you put in dress, comfortable dress black shoes or something like that, the more, they're called long-tail keywords. And it's very important because that's how people actually search. And people are going so much more towards voice. When people are just typing into Google search or Siri or whatever the case may be, they're just typing it in, best pizza in Billerica or whatever the case may be. They're typing keywords in, but in a long tail fashion. So you want to make sure that I used to write, even, many years ago, I wrote for a local magazine, Tech Talk with Ronald Couming was the name of the magazine. So even then, when I wrote my blog articles, customers might have a slow computer, but they wouldn't know what caused their slow computer. So they're not going to be searching for antivirus tools or malware scans. They don't know what causes it. So they're going to type in what causes a slow computer, how to speed up my computer. So I would structure my blog content in such a way that I would say a common cause of a slow computer could be adware, spyware, or malware. Or I would say, if your computer is slow, running a scan to detect and, get rid of malware or viruses will speed up your computer, something like that. I would interject it into a sentence that gave the problem but also the solution. So remember, this goes back to what I was saying about people knowing who you are opposed to what you do. Most people don't know the solution to their problem, whether it's antivirus software or if it's something that they need taken care of, right? And I think it's actually like 3% of people who go online actually know exactly what they're looking for when they're doing a search in terms of, direct solutions to their problems. So it's like 90% will put in something to the effect of how is, what does, where can I, so try and structure your content in the way people speak, especially when you have Amazon and them coming out with Alexa and all these other services where people just shout out things, what they want, and poof, they get the results. So the third tip I want to give you is to develop thought leadership. 76% of SEOs believe that providing insight and intelligence to customers is the most important dimension of realizing company goals. And that was something IBM said many years ago. Thought leadership is the idea that you are a trustworthy go-to authority on your topic or industry. This is vital because customers are more likely to purchase from companies that they trust and know, and over time that they gain their trust. So you have to prove your value and have other people corroborate your authority. To write content marketing that demonstrates your thought leadership, you want to focus on your experience and then have a conversation with your clients. It's all about providing meaningful content on your website that sparks a dialogue. To do this, and this is going to give you some tips, but this is huge. This is probably one of the biggest things that you can learn from, and it's about, and some people say it's crazy, but it's about giving away a lot of content. And, John Asseroff, he's a great one. He does a lot, and he gives away about 90+% of what he has. And I've asked him, as have others, if you give away so much, why would people actually hire you? And he's like, well, people see that what I give away, so they know that other 10%, if they like what I'm giving away and they really find value in that, and I'm giving that away for free, then they're really wowed at, like, what must he be charging for? This stuff is that great, that extra, whatever is he's charging for must be really great. And that's one mentality. But the other thing is, in order to build a relationship with people, you'll see, like if you go online and you visit somebody's website, 3 tips, to increase this or that, or 5 ways you can, whatever the case may be. But you have to put in your email address. Those are called lead magnets, AMDs, attraction marketing devices. So they have multiple names, but they basically produce the same thing. They're giving away free tips for your contact information. And what happens here is the person who creates the tips and gets your contact information, they're starting the process by giving you something of value, some tips, some part of their expertise. So they're going to give that to you in exchange for your email address. And then oftentimes you'll find in those AMDs or lead magnets that down the bottom there'll be an opportunity to, click to their calendar to set up a consultation, a free 15-minute consultation. So this is kind of like a funnel, and it starts the process where you're giving away something of value. They see that you have a solution, or at least that you are somewhat of an authority in that field. So now they call you. So you've already started building that trust. They went from not knowing you or barely knowing you to actually seeing you as somebody who could solve their problem, and then they're picking up the phone or making an appointment to call you. Now, if after that first interaction they don't contact you right away after they read those free tips, you now have their email address, and then you follow up with them. Maybe 2-3 days later, you would follow up with another email that, hey, see you downloaded such and such the other day. We know life can get in the way. Here are the tips again in this email. Please let me know what else we can help you with, or whatever the case may be. So maybe they downloaded it, didn't read it. When they get your email, they will now see it. They don't have to resubmit their contact info. Right in your email is the link to the content. But they see that, and maybe they did read it and they forgot about it. Something happened. Their attention got taken away. But this starts that process. And then maybe a week after that, hey, I see that, you read that, those 5 tips. What else is it that we could help you with? So you'll see, a lot of times in marketing, it takes 7 to 10 touches, 7 to 10 contacts. And most salespeople, they stop after the first or second time. So you'll see that a lot. They're called funnels. And so here's to develop the thought leadership. So you want to share solid industry thought leadership. Demonstrate awareness of current events and trends. This is what your content should have. Create content focus on customer pain points. That means whatever their problem is. Provide real solutions to real problems. Absolutely. And this will help build the trust factor, and they will also build the authority. And I go to a lot of events across the country, and there's a lot of people who will tell you to generate a book and other stuff like that. And here, even this radio show, to be honest with you, I'm just giving away free information. I don't get paid to be on this radio show. So I'm coming here, I give away free information. You learn all these things. Hopefully they help you. Oftentimes I'll have on a couple of subject matter experts. But the bottom line is, after people hear this information, either they start to see me as someone who could help them, or they see this information and they just know they're not skilled enough to do it, so they might call me and hire me, right? So this is a way that exactly what I'm telling you to do, I do myself, is what I'm trying to tell you. So this isn't somebody who, a lot of times you'll hear people, those who can't teach. I run an extremely successful marketing company. I travel. I just got back from San Diego where I was speaking. I'll be traveling 2 more places in June. I travel across the country and give presentations quite frequently on digital marketing and how to grow your business. So number 4, the 4th tip I want to give you is to be authentic. Super important. You need to be real, raw, and relatable. Customers are looking to connect with brands, or more so people. My company is RCS Technology Solutions, but in the last couple of years, I've been more branding myself Ronald Couming. Now, I have multiple employees and subcontractors and all that, but I am kind of the focal point. People hear me, see me, and they're basically hiring me. But so you want to be authentic, because the customers are looking to connect with brands or people, more so the people. And they can only do this if they feel like if they can relate to you. So this is where authenticity is the key. The reality is that bad content can turn customers away, leaving them feeling disconnected. Instead, you want to tell your company story in such a way that you don't give the idea that you're trying to trick anyone or pull the wool over their eyes. So you want to tell a story. Find a moment somewhere, a case study or a situation where you can tell a story about your brand that matters to you, what you offer, and why it's important. This is a great way to build a connection between your brand and your audience. Use a real voice. When writing your website content, you want to come across, you don't want to come across, rather, as a commercial. You want to come across as a real voice that is friendly, interested, and helpful. And be transparent. Don't try to trick your customers. Instead, give them the unvarnished truth about who you are and what you offer. Take an uncompromising look at your brand to see how you can naturally provide help. So that is basically about being transparent. And one great way about that is I know, like many years ago, I used to do a lot of managed services. My company and I, we would fix people's computers, mostly businesses, and managed services, so it would be a business. They might have 10, 20, 50 computers, laptop, printers. We would come in and fix that. Then I found a couple of my companies that I worked with and had a great rapport with hired somebody else to build their website or to do their online marketing. So I went back to them and I said, hey, you know what happened here? I thought we had a rapport. They didn't even realize that was a service that I offered. So that's really being authentic and transparent. So even in, this is like, 8-10 years ago, people didn't really know that we did the marketing. So that brought it home to me just how important that marketing was. Sometimes you think that people just know. You set up a business and the world just knows who you are and what you do. That's not the case. Marketing is 90% of a business's success. So you also want your content to answer needs and wants. 72% of marketers say the relevant content creation is the most effective SEO tactic. That's because customers choose to purchase from brands that offer solutions to their problem, and those solutions are what they're looking for when they're searching online. When a visitor comes to your website, they should be able to quickly find the answers, not only to their burning questions, but to their wants, even if they're not able to voice them, meaning a lot of people don't know what the solutions are. They just know what the problem is, right? So the best way to create this type of a website is to develop content that you would want as a consumer, considering what type of content you enjoy and how you consume it. Then develop your website using the same formats and content styles that you would engage with. So these are just some. I have multiple ways that you can create content that focuses on the customer experience. And you need to remember that it's super important that your website material doesn't just show who you are and what you do and talks about how great you are. The customer, the potential customer, needs to see in 6 or 7 seconds when they hit your website that you can provide their solution. So make sure that your content provides for a great customer experience, and it also shows the potential customer and user that the solution that they will get from hiring you over a competitor. This will help you in search engine results, meaning you will come up more often than your competitors. But more important than that, it will help you develop a relationship with people that you don't know and eventually, hopefully, nurture that over time, and they will then become your customers and clients. If you have any other questions on this subject or any subject related to online marketing, my name is Ronald Couming. That's Couming. My email is ron, R-O-N, at RCS Technology Solutions.com, and my phone number is 978-606-5432. And you've been listening to Ronald Couming on the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions Radio Show. We're from Ronald Couming from RCS Technology Solutions. It's funny, I say my name 3 times in that closing. So it's Ron Couming from the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success using various Internet marketing techniques and methods.